Grab your drinks and have a seat. It's time for serial killers.
Hi.
Yellow.
We're here
We are.
to tell you about our life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm T,
And I'm Jay.
and we're here to talk to you about serial killers. That's what we talk about on this podcast, along with other things, but the main point is serial killers. And yeah, that's about where we're at with it. I've had a headache all day, so apologies, because I don't know why I have a headache.
Well, maybe it's because you were reading a bunch of history stuff that's super boring.
It's true. By the way, I'm reading right now. I'm reading a book called The Babysitter, which was sent to me by my mother-in-law. And I'm so excited because it's about one of the serial killers that we have already talked about named Tony Costa. And I am totally loving it. Totally loving it. I'm so glad. So thank you, mother-in-law, for buying it.
Yeah, thank you for giving her another book she can read and put on her book counter while I'm still sitting at one.
Listen, I like to read. I read fast. And when I like what I'm reading, I read it really fast.
Okay, so we started this book counter at the beginning of the year.
Correct.
You have one, I have one.
Correct.
I'm at one.
And today, the day that we're recording this, is January 14th.
And what are you at?
7.
Yeah.
I read fast. And again, I get books from people, specifically people who know the things I like to read, and I will read those books and I love them. If you give me a book that I'm not as interested in, it's going to take me a long time to read it. But
Well,
I'm
speaking
really
of
interested in it.
books, what's the new thing that we are doing with the book?
Oh, we're doing Pango. We do not get sponsored. We do not get paid to do
absolutely
any
not. If we
of
did
our
get
podcasts.
sponsored, it wouldn't be by Pango, it'd be by Milo's.
But we don't get sponsored. But you're right. I do need to share this. So Pango Books, there's an app called Pango Books, and it is basically Etsy, but for your books. And so you can either just buy them as used books, or you can do what I'm doing, which I will buy books and sell books. And you literally just take a picture of your book. Then you turn the book over, take a picture of the ISBN number, and it automatically loads all the information in there for you about the book. And then you just mark whether it's in new, good, like new, fair condition. And then any little notes you want to put about it. And then your price. And they normally give you like a recommended price, but I'll give you an example. I've put any of the books that we're finished reading that we aren't going to keep, because I keep some of my books. But if you don't want to keep them, basically you're selling them for a cheaper price just to get a little money back. And then you can turn around and actually use what you make and go and buy more. So we had both read the most recent Frida McFadden book, and it's her newest one that was out. We both read it. It's like new. So I put it up for sale. Their recommended sale price was $13, but I was like, I just want to get rid of the book. So I marked it for $10, sold it in literally 2 days. And when it comes to shipping, the buyer pays the shipping, and basically Pango buys you a shipping label and emails it to you. Well, not emails it to you. You use the app, I guess, to download it, and then you print it off. So you don't even have to worry about the shipping. Like, all you have to do is take your book, put it in a box, slap a shipping label on it, and send it. And then you'll have like an account that has a little bit of money. So if you are somebody who likes to read and you have a lot of books that you're like, I don't know what to do with these, and you don't want to give them to like Goodwill or whatever, seriously, I would highly recommend check out Pango Books, because that's what I've been doing. I'm putting them all up for sale on there, and I found books that I want to buy for they're like $2, and then shipping is $3.99. So you're spending like $6 for a book that is normally like $15 in the store. And if you buy from the same store, like if you buy from the same person, you can get a couple of books and only spend like $6 on shipping, and you can buy like I had my cart full the other day with $30 is what I had in books, and there was 11 books in my cart. Nowhere are you getting 30 books for $11. Actually, that's not true.
No.
I didn't say
Goodwill.
that. I meant 11 books for $30.
Yeah.
But even Goodwill, though, when we do because Jay and I just went to Goodwill the other day and spent $70 on books.
We got a lot of books, though.
We
But
do.
with that being said, that's what's nice about Pango Books, right? Like, we go to Goodwill and we find books, and sometimes you'll find a book that has like a series
Yeah.
or something like that. And then you're like, well,
Where's the rest of it?
Goodwill doesn't have the rest
Yeah.
of it, so where do I get it? I don't want to
Pango.
go to, the local bookstore and pay full price
Right.
because I'm cheap.
I'm a cheapest.
So Pango Books is amazing.
Yes, but again, not sponsored. It was just something that I found, and I was like, I've been telling everybody about it because I'm like, listen, if you want cheap books, it's like a thrift store / Etsy. You just have to pay for shipping. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. However, we're not really here to talk about books, even though I would love to. I would love to. We are here to talk about serial killers, but before we talk about serial killers, we typically talk about
H2O.
water.
Yeah, what we're drinking today.
Yeah, what are we drinking today?
And that's what I'm drinking today because I've been
building a
out
fence.
building a fence and need my water intake
That's
to
true.
balance myself out.
That's true. I'm not drinking water. I'm actually drinking an iced coffee, but it is a honey cinnamon iced coffee with coconut creamer. And it is actually pretty good. Somebody had recommended it to me. Like, hey, you should use honey in your coffee. And I was like, because I always use stevia, but I tried honey and it was actually pretty good. So not going to say no.
Well, between that and tea, you're honeying it up.
True.
All right, now that we're talking about honey of a drink, what serial killer are we talking about today?
Oh, well, this week, honey does kind of make some sense here, I think. Not that we did that on purpose, but this week we are talking about Juana Barraza. Juana is a woman.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Now, she is nicknamed the Old Lady Killer or the Lady of Silence. She has 42 to 48 victims. Her murder dates are 1998 to 2006. The location of her murders was Mexico City, Mexico, and her method of murder was strangulation, beating, bludgeoning, and stabbing. And her characteristics are robbery. Juana was born December 27th, 1958 in Hidalgo, which is kind of north of Mexico City. Now, she had a fucking horrific childhood. We're going to start off with that. Her mother was an alcoholic. Her father left the day she was born, so she was abandoned by her father. She was verbally and physically abused by her mother. Because her mother was a horrific ass woman, her mother decided that she was going to exchange Juana to a man for 3 beers when she was 11 years old. Some reports say 13.
Cervezas.
I don't give a fuck what you call them. Nobody, child, adult, or other, should ever be given to somebody, ever, anyways.
For
ever.
anything.
Just,
Yeah,
ever.
period.
But then on top of it, for 3
Period.
fucking beers? So just take that in for a second and realize that was her childhood. This man was 26 years old. And she was, like I said, some reports said 13, some said 11, but regardless, she was well into minor ages. This man repeatedly raped her, and she does end up getting pregnant by him. She has a boy, and she does eventually go on to have a total of 4 children. Now, her oldest son, the one that she had with the man who raped her repeatedly, he does end up dying later in life because he was killed during a mugging in their city. So right there, like all that is just like, ooh, that's going to make me hate the world too. I'm not going to lie. So Juana goes on to study to become a nurse at one point, but she ends up not fulfilling the nurse role, and she ends up kind of like going down a different career path. And this is as she goes on to become a wrestler. She wants to be a professional wrestler. So she's kind of, in my mind, like doing backyard wrestling, kind of stuff.
There's also like a big amateur circuit, so I'm sure.
I call backyard wrestling amateur. I'm not going to lie. So she goes on to start wrestling, and she goes by the name La Dama del Silencio, also known as the Lady of Silence. So that's what she does. And she's actually really enjoyed learning about lucha libre, which is a form of masked wrestling in Mexico. So, and that's what she ends up doing. She ends up creating a whole entire costume, and she has a mask that she wears, and she is the Lady of Silence. In her wrestling career, she would fight as a heel or a ruda. Now, what this is like the bad guy or like the villain. So if for those of you that are in the United States, WWE, you got to think, I mean, I don't know anything about it. Name like, okay, I'm going to date myself. The Undertaker, maybe? Was he like a villain wrestler? Like when you would watch wrestling, was he the one that you're like, boo, you never wanted him to win?
It was more like NWO was like...
What the hell is NWO?
New World Order. They were a group that were like, they were all wrestlers, but they were like the bad boys of wrestling. So kind of like that. Because in my mind, it was like, what I'm finding is that this Ruda was somebody that you always hoped would lose. You would boo them. And the more boos that the person would get, the better. So it's like when you came out, the minute you came out with your mask and your outfit on, it was like, boo, you suck. That's how she would wrestle. She would wrestle as that bad guy. She also wore a butterfly mask as part of her costume. So her mask was like a butterfly. Okay. There's actually pictures. If you ever want to look it up, just look up Juana Barraza. Okay. But honestly, I kind of feel like I haven't decided what picture to use, so I may just find that picture. So there's a chance that if you're looking right now at your podcast, wherever you're seeing this, and you see a picture of a woman that is wearing a wrestling outfit, that is Juana when she wrestled, because I feel like that's a good one to put out. But anyways, other than this information that I have about her, I have nothing else to tell you about her background. I have nothing else to tell you about anything she encountered in her life, why she did the things that she did, nothing. Okay. All of Juana's victims are over 60 years old. Many of them lived alone, and she would strangle them or bludgeon them, and then she would rob them. Juana admitted that she would dress as a nurse or sometimes a social worker. She would go to their homes, knock on their homes, be very nice to them, befriend them. They would let her into their homes, and then she would use their stockings, their phone cords, or other items of theirs to strangle them. She would then leave all the high valuable items, and she would just take like images of saints and crucifixes and Bibles from their homes. So she wasn't even stealing like money. Okay. She wasn't doing this because she needed money. Clearly she wasn't. Again, she literally just took little things from their homes, almost like trophies, right? Left all the high valuable shit. I do not have a list of all the victims because honestly, they just don't. I don't know if people just didn't know who the people were or they didn't want to put out a list. I don't know if the police actually believed that all of the victims were victims of Juana's, like if they connected them all together. And so there's not like a tallying list, which to be honest, even if there was 48 people, I'm probably not reading you 48 people's names anyways. So I will tell you just a couple of her victims though. So one of her victims was Maria de la Gonzalez Anaya. Now she was 64 years old and she was found beaten and strangled in her home on November 25th, 2002. Another one was Guillermina Leon. She was 84 and she killed this woman 4 months after killing Maria. Now police in Mexico City did warn the public because they started to notice an uptick in elderly women being strangled in their homes. So they're like, listen, there might or might not, we're not saying that there's a serial killer, but we're saying there might be a serial killer in the area. So, heed with caution. And they're probably not focused on a woman or at least, people watching the news or whatever, because typically women don't do strangling and beatings. So kind of throws it off a little bit.
Did you write this story?
No, I just pay attention.
Did you write this story? Well, the police do believe that whoever's doing the killings is brilliant, clever, and very careful because, correct, at the moment, they have zero ideas. I mean, they have not, I don't know if they thought specifically male, but They had zero idea of who could be doing this. They were leaving nothing behind for them to be able to be like, oh, let me see who this is. So they were like, whoever's doing this, just know that they're very smart. They're calculated. They are able to gain entry into people's homes. There's no forced entry. So like, just, be vigilant when you're out there, especially those of you women that are older and live on your own. They did also say that they believed that the killer had been killing their victims after gaining their trust. So they thought that the killer was posing as like a government official. So they actually had come out and said, we're thinking that this killer is posing as a government official who is offering victims a chance to sign up for the welfare program. Because again, these are elderly women who live by themselves. So they were like, we think that they're being able to walk up to your home and basically show you stuff and be like, well, I can help you get money. Let me come inside, help you fill out paperwork, and then is killing the women. Now, this search for Juana was a very complicated one because there was conflicting evidence at different crime scenes. At one point, they had thought that there was actually 2 killers. So at one point, they were like, ooh, I think this might have been the work of 2 killers. And I don't know if it's because there was conflicting things at different crime scenes where they were like, well, this is different than the first one. Similar enough, but different enough that I don't think the same person's doing it. Another thing that threw them for a loop is that 3 of her victims had owned the same exact painting. And so then they're like, well, this is weird. Why did it's an 18th century painting by Jean-Baptiste Grouez, and it's called Boy in Red Waistcoat. And so when they're seeing this, they're like, okay, hold on. That can't be coincidental that this person is murdering people that all have the same stuff in their house. But genuinely it's coincidental. Like there was no link, but they tried to find a link in that. Couldn't find a link in that. Police did believe that whoever was doing the killings was a true psychopath, which fucking duh. Like, yeah. Nobody who's...
Anybody who's murdering people is a true psychopath.
Like, really? But they said, like, this person clearly has zero remorse for what they've done. That's what their feeling is. So they're, like, telling this shit to the public. I think probably to have the public be able to be like, oh, my God, my uncle is just like that, right? And then, like, call in. Now, police do begin interviewing people because after women have started popping up dead, people are coming forward and saying, well, wait a minute, I saw her last night. And I saw her... or I saw her yesterday at noon and you found her body at 6. Like, that's strange. And so they would say, like, well, did you see her with anybody? And all of them said the same thing. Yes, we saw her with a man that had short blonde hair. And which, of course, as soon as they say that, they're like, duh, of course it's a man. And so they said, okay, yeah. And so they would actually talk to people and have them give descriptions of this supposed person. And they all did, literally all of the people that had claimed to have seen this person with the victims before they died, they all said it was a man. And of course the police are like, yeah, well, of course, because men are the ones who are serial killers. Because I mean, women are, we had women serial killers, yes, but like you brought up, women don't typically strangle.
No, they usually
poison a lot of the times, maybe shoot. I mean, I've definitely seen a few that will shoot people, but most of the time their method of murder is poison.
But strangling and beating, that takes a lot of strength, right? But she's a wrestler, so it makes sense.
Right.
But if you didn't have the background of her being a wrestler, your mind would just go towards the male figure anyways.
Right. So the other reason why they felt this also, though, was because the victims were elderly women. And again, most of the time, women are not killing elderly women. And most of the time when you have a serial killer killing elderly women, it's because they are killing elderly women. And a lot of the times it's because it's like a substitute for their own mothers, right? And so the thought that it was a man doing it was like, well, yeah, that makes sense. So this is when they started deeming this serial killer the old lady killer. So now they're telling the public, like, we have a serial killer. He's the old lady killer. Like, watch out. And this was also thought that at this time, again, that serial killers are all pretty much men. So therefore you must have seen a man and he must be a serial killer. The one conclusion that they came up with, though, so here's where I'm like, okay, when they got the description of the man, all of them described the man as a man that was dressed up as a woman. Okay. So they were given information that made them realize that this kind of looks like a woman, but it's a man that dresses as a woman. So they were like, okay. And then there was a sighting at one home that somebody said that they saw that was a large, what appeared to be a potential woman leaving the home of an elderly woman who had been found dead later in a red coat. But she was a really large woman. So then they were like, no, you saw the man who dresses like a woman leaving the house. So in October of 2000...
He's trying to throw you off by dressing like a woman. That's probably what they were thinking.
Well, what they actually thought. In October of 2005, after getting sketches from the people that they had fucking interviewed, and after seeing the sketch, it was and I saw the sketch. It was a masculine looking person with some feminine features. That is correct. Now they go and start arresting cross-dressing sex workers at this point, because they're like, well, it's obviously either a cross-dresser or a transgender person. Okay. So they immediately go and start arresting cross-dressing sex workers. They interrogate them, they fingerprint them, and none of them have matching fingerprints because they do have a few fingerprints from some of the scenes. So now they're looking for the matching fingerprints. So they have to let them go. They are able to conclude that it was indeed not a cross-dressing person, but they were sure that it was a transgender person. So they said, well, we've gone through all the cross-dressing sex workers that we could, which of course that's the only person that could be a possible suspect. And we've eliminated all of them. So it's not a cross-dresser. It's now a transgender person. Now, police even get to a point where they start fingerprinting bodies at the morgue, because they're now thinking, well, maybe the killer killed themselves as well. So maybe the killer killed people and then they killed themselves at some point. And so they're lost. I mean, this has been going on. We
classified it as a victim, but...
Well, and again, this has been going on since 1996 and we're now in 2005. So they're like, this has been like, what, 11 years? And we have no fucking idea who this man is. Okay, that's what they're thinking. Then on January 25th, 2006, a man named Joel Lopez decides that he's going to go check on his elderly neighbor because this old lady killer is out killing people and she lives on her own. And the body count at this point was nearly 50 people at this point that had been murdered. And so he's like, yeah, I'm going to go give a little peek-see, see how she's doing. So this was 82-year-old Ana Maria de los Reyes. Now, he arrives at her home and he's very surprised to find that her door is unlocked. Like, he's going to knock on her door, but like her door is not even locked and she always locks her door. So he's like, oh, that's weird. So he steps inside, and as he goes into her apartment, a person comes out of her apartment, and it's a big, large woman wearing a red coat, and she's walking out past him.
And she's like, hey, bro.
And he does, like, he straight up stares at her, makes eye contact with her, and then just goes into the home. And he ends up finding Anna laying on the floor in her bedroom, and she is dead. And she had been strangled with a stethoscope. Joel turns...
And he was right there.
Joel turns and runs out of the apartment after the woman. And he happens to be running out and seeing the woman very quickly trying to get to her vehicle. And coming down the street, is a fucking cop car. So he is literally like, hey, you know, and the cop pull over, and he's like, that woman was just walking out of my neighbor's apartment and she is dead on the floor. So the police obviously go and they grab Juana and they're like, we might have some questions for you. So as the police are putting her in the car, Joel is standing there looking at her going, what did you do? What did you do to my neighbor? And he's like accusing her of killing his neighbor. So when she gets to the police station, police discover that her name is Juana Barraza. And she is a 48-year-old single mother. They also find items on her that show that she is a wrestler. And they find business cards with her name on it. They find receipt rentals for wrestling rings. She also leads them to believe that she's a professional wrestler, which was not apparently accurate. They find out that she's not a professional wrestler, but she is a very large fan of wrestling, and that she is an amateur wrestler. Now, Juana's fingerprints are taken, and they are linked to 10 of the murders by fingerprint.
Damn.
Remember that. They are linked to 10 of the murders by fingerprint, which means she fucking strangled the women. It is said that she also confessed to supposedly killing 4 women, but denied involvement in the other 40. Okay? She did claim that she had killed one of the victims, the last victim. She said that she claimed to have killed her over a dispute on getting paid for her cleaning services because she would clean houses for people. And so she had said, well, I went there to get my money, and she wouldn't give me money. Now, on March 31st, 2008, Juana is found guilty on 16 charges of murder and aggravated burglary, including 11 separate counts of murder. And she is sentenced to 759 years in prison.
Ooh.
However, the maximum sentence can only be served in Mexico to 60 years. However, remember, she's 48, so she's not if she stays in the full 60, she'll be 108. She's not making it out of jail. Currently, she is still in prison, and Juana is actually a gym teacher, and she sells tacos in like the commissary area in the prison to help support her family, which I think that's all. I don't actually have an issue with that because she was a single mother, to be fair. And if her family if she's still able to support her family, but she's behind bars, I don't really see a problem with that.
Yep.
Now, she also reportedly got married and divorced since she's been in prison, too. She met a man. She did. She met a man that was in the male area of the prison, and they got married, but they only were...
And then he's like, I'm getting out, so...
No, they didn't get to see each other very often, so it didn't work out. So they divorced. So...
How does that work for the conjugal visit?
You don't get conjugal visits when you're prisoner and prisoner. So that is the story of Juana Barraza. I got some shots.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear these.
Okay, so about when her mother gave her up. We're going to go all the way back to when her mom gave her up to this man, okay? So Juana had told the police, she did. She told them a lot of shit. And she was like, listen, I've had a shit childhood. My mother was a piece of shit. She sold me to a man for 3 beers. What she said was, when I was 11 years old, my mother told a man, I was young, but I was 11 and he was a 26-year-old man. Give me some beers and you can take my daughter. That's what she said happened. Literally, that was her fucking mom.
That lady needs to be in jail.
She said when he abused me, he had to tie me to the bed to touch me, which also I totally believe because she fought like she
hell yeah.
Fought like hell. And now, okay, so that's that. Juana is also thought to have killed up to 47 women. 47. That's a lot. That's a lot of ladies. Now, when Juana was approached by media, she said, I know it's a crime. I did it and I will pay for it. But just because I'm going to pay for it, that does not mean they're going to hang all the other crimes on me. With all due respect to authorities, there are several of us involved in extortion and killing people. So why don't the police go after the others too? So she's alluding to the fact that she is not the only one responsible for the killings of these older women. But remember, her fingerprints were found on 10 of them. Yeah,
which she says, hey, you got me for 10. I'll do that, but don't put me everybody else on me.
She actually only... I'll get to that in a minute. Now, it is believed that part of what caused her to murder was the hatred that she held for her mother. She also has said, I only killed one old lady. It's not right to pin the others on me. So already she's lying because she said she only killed one. They have her for 10. Your fingerprints are on 10 of the things that killed the women. So you most definitely killed 10. So that's why it's hard for me to believe that there's actually other people involved. Final shot. When she was asked why she killed, she said, when I saw them, I felt much anger and more when they acted uppity or believed that because of their money, they could humiliate me. So I don't know if we would say that she killed because of the anger for her mother necessarily. However, they were all older women. The people who say that it was because of her mother, though, her mom was not 60 damn years old when she had her. So to me, that doesn't make sense anyways.
I think it's an authoritative older lady. So I think that's where it ties in.
Yeah, but that much older. To me, that is a weird thing, but maybe.
When was she born?
58.
58, and the killing started when?
1996.
Okay, so she'd be 29.
I'm sorry, 1998. She was 30.
She was 30. So, I mean, you figure because I was going to say, even if she had her, let's say at 30, she'd only be 50.
Wait, and the math doesn't make sense anyway. So did she lie about her age to the police? I just realized because she told the police she was 48 years old when she got caught. She got caught in 2006.
When was she born again?
58.
No, that's 48.
She's 48?
Sounds right.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, but yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I sit there and I'm like, I don't think anybody will ever know the real reasons why she killed the women because, first of all, like we talked about earlier, strangling and beating women, that is just not typically a female way of killing. That's anger. When you strangle and beat somebody, that's anger. That you're coming from an angry place. So then there's that part of me, I'm like, well, and she admits to being angry when she killed him. But she didn't specifically say like, oh, they reminded me of my mother. She's talking about how they thought they were better than her, so she would kill them.
Right.
However,
you can't tell me only these old ladies
right,
felt
that's
like
what I'm
they
saying.
were better than you.
So that's why I think people might have put together that, she held a hatred for her mother, which, by the way, Juana, I would hate my mother too. There is no part of me that thinks that what happened to her was even remotely okay.
No.
But it's not an
beers.
excuse to go kill just older women because you're pissed at the world. But no, I mean, I understand that part. But this is why when I do the serial killers, I'm always like, man, like I would love to crawl into her brain because that's terrible. You had a terrible fucking childhood. That's I couldn't even horrific. I mean, I cannot imagine. And as a mom, who the fuck are you? Like, I genuinely can't. However, I would love to sit there and listen and be like, but what made you feel like it was okay to kill other women because of your mom? What is it? And again, people have believed that she's a psychopath, which would be a lot of it. If she really is a sociopath, psychopath type person, that means she has no remorse and that she has no real feelings about it. And the only thing is when I hear her say, I got angry, typically people that are like sociopaths don't have emotions.
Right.
So she wouldn't get angry. So I don't know.
She got anger problems.
And that could be it. And she, again, it is, she's definitely interesting because there's not a ton of information to take and be like, oh yeah, I really feel like I know the whole story. I don't feel like I know the whole story. I feel like I got a little piece of the story, but I feel like there's so much between her childhood all the way to when she was caught that we're missing. There's pieces that we're missing. A big piece is motive. I understand what she said, but there's got to be more to it. You can't just tell me I got mad because they thought they were better than me. I don't think that is something that would just trigger somebody to kill.
I was going to say, and what triggered the start, right? Because you look at her age, she could have done it. She could have started way before that.
Right.
Like what happened there that triggered it? Was there an interaction with your mother? Was there information? That's kind of what I would want to know. It's like, what was that? We know that she had a shitty childhood, and yes, you hate your mother, but what you could have started killing when you were 18. Like, what made you start killing at that point in time?
Yep. And those are all the questions that I'll never be able to have answered because I'm never going to go sit in a jail in Mexico City to go talk to Juana.
Negative.
So thank you very much for listening to this episode as you do every week, and continue to like and share and download and do all the things that we talk about every single week because we love doing it. We love that you're here to listen to the stories and we love that you like them. Other than that, thank you so much for listening to me tell you the story about Juana Barraza, the old lady killer. Until next week, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Remember to lock your doors and bar your windows. Until next time.